Good morning, early game crew. Before we can get into all the fun, exciting Kevin Schnall stuff, I just want to say how it's a miracle how I'm here in any type of energetic capacity. How was I supposed to sleep after watching that game last night?
Electricity flowing through your veins.
I couldn't sleep. I usually have no problem sleeping. I don't think I've run into a problem sleeping since I was like a kid, like a young child. Like where I'm laying in bed, I'm getting mad that I cannot close my eyes and go to bed. Usually it's the easiest thing I do on a daily basis. Sometimes it just happens on accident. But no, because I did witness maybe the greatest professional basketball game that was ever played.
You can make an argument. You don't want to be prisoner of the moment, and you don't want to be rushed to judgment. But you've watched a lot of basketball in your life.
I have.
I've watched a lot of basketball in my life.
You have.
There's no combination of the stakes, the moment, the plays, the stories. I made the opposite decision. Third quarter, 15 points. I'm watching the thing dwindle down, and I specifically said, I'm going to sleep now. Either I'm going to wake up and the Spurs held on, or it's going to be crazy when I woke up in the morning. And by golly gee wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Nuts.
Crazier than I would have anticipated. Because even I might have thought, hey, maybe the Knicks will come back. But I didn't think it was going to happen like that.
No, absolutely not. Not in the manner in which it did. Oh, man, we'll get into a lot more of that later. Trust us, because that was...
Who says there's nothing to talk about in June?
That game alone could get 3 hours in terms of what in the world just went down. Like that's what sports is all about. That is remarkable. That was, without a doubt, just one of the most remarkable sporting events I have ever watched or witnessed on television in my life. Just incredible drama.
What do you think it sounded like when Wemby told Mitchell, "I'm in your head"? Just imagine a French dude talking trash to you. You're like,
I am in your noggin.
I do not like this guy. Oh my God! Mitchell Robinson has to elbow him. He has to elbow him,
especially when you're Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell is about as southern a man as could possibly exist. The man drives like the biggest lifted truck. Mitchell Robinson is a man of the South. Have you heard Mitchell Robinson speak? He's got a thick southern accent.
Two cultures colliding.
Two cultures that could not be more different. Could you imagine just Mitchell Robinson in the huddles like, God's making me so mad.
All these books.
I don't know what he's saying. The funniest dichotomy is that those two.
They could not be further apart on any spectrum, correct?
No, they could not be more different. Those two guys could not physically be more different. Have different upbringings, all of that. And I can imagine he was so mad during that. And Mitchell Robinson gets the last laugh. Him and his broken pinky.
He does.
Oh, man.
We will get there. We will get there.
Trust me. We will get there. But Kevin Schnall got here, and he got here with a lot of very nice luggage, Preston Thorne.
Yep.
Because I think he's gone full Deion Sanders where he says, hey, I'm bringing my luggage with me.
It's Louis.
It's really nice, too, because just yesterday alone, I think there was even an additional one. Like, this is just from what I had jotted down before going on yesterday's, post-game show. There were 6 players from Coastal that entered the portal and joined South Carolina. Then there was a 7th after that, and starting with, Walker Mitchell, a third baseman who also has played a little second base and shortstop. There's a reason why if you see his name in a lot of these reports, like whether it's on the Big Spur or Gamecock Central or the 24/7 site, you'll see him just referred to as an infielder. Well, that's because the guy has played everywhere in the infield. Legitimately. You get...
They used to call that a utility player.
Exactly, a utility player. But he's also a guy who's going to hit .313 for you. And his doubles went up from 5 to 17 last year.
And he steals bases, too.
He steals bases. He stole 11 bases. And local kid, River Bluff High School. You're gonna notice a little bit of a trend here. A left-handed pitcher in Hayden Johnson didn't get to pitch last year. because of an injury, but was a preseason All-Sun Belt guy, had a 2.82 ERA the year before, an incredibly high strikeout rate. Preston Thorne, he struck out 13 batters per 9 innings. And he's a 6'5 lefty.
Did he pitch against our squad last year? Every 9 innings?
Statistically, yes.
Even better.
Statistically. That's what the rate he would have been on. And, Socastee High School in the state of South Carolina. Freshman right-handed pitcher Daniel Parker, who'll be a sophomore next season, from the P27 Academy in Lexington. Another left-handed pitcher, Colby Richardson, from the PD Academy, who, again, another freshman last season, so he's going to have a lot of eligibility when he comes here. Catcher Bryce Estep, who may be the most Schnall ball player on planet Earth, because you can look at the same way you look at like maybe a lot of Tampa Bay Rays players. We're like, oh, he's only hitting 232. Don't let that fool you. His on-base percentage was 417. So he got on base a lot. Guess what he was top 10 in the Sun Belt in this year? Sacrifice bunts. And as a catcher, too, guess what he did? He threw out 15 base runners. That's a Schnall ball player right there, if I've ever seen one. Well, he's going to be a Gamecock. And then Jackson Weiner, who was a first baseman DH last year, played at Bishop England for high school. Really
quickly, I don't have it in front of me. This isn't need to know if he's a baller or not. Conventionally spelled Jackson or with an X?
Conventionally spelled Jackson.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Are we running on a Jackson theory here?
I just, if he spelled it with an X, a little extra dip on his chip. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, there's just a little.
That's all I'm saying.
There's just a little more. There's a little bit of an edge there.
That's all I'm saying. All right, cool.
JAXXXXSON.
A little bit of dip, a little bit more dip on his chip.
But no, traditional Jackson.
Sort of like working on like the Max Crosby theory here.
Because double X on the Max, which does Mama name him that, or did he put the extra X there? I want to know.
Good
because
question.
knowing who Max Crosby is makes you think that maybe he might have been the one to put the extra X to his name.
But I'll tell you this: if his mama named him Double X Max, he got that dog in him.
And it was hereditary. It was the hereditary dog in him. She had it. Now he got it. Right? I need to find this out. Might have to do some digging here. But Jackson Weiner played first base and DH last year, but also listed as a left-handed pitcher. Considered a guy who is like an MLB draft prospect, like a top 75 draft prospect. Later on in his career, he was just a freshman last year, played in only 27 games, had only 18 starts. In those 18 starts, Preston Thorne, he cranked out 4 homers and 19 RBI, including all those homers coming against power conference opponents, including 2 in one game against Wake Forest.
Okay.
So a little bit of a baller. So I would say a lot of potential there. And he gets another year with this coaching staff just in a different place. And then there are more additions to come too, but those are the first 6 that came out yesterday. And I'm already liking what I'm seeing.
Well, let's pause that, because his luggage wasn't just players either.
It was a squad of coaches too.
Squad of coaches also, namely Matt Williams as the pitching coach. He brought him back, rightfully back to Columbia, and he brought a lot of his other staff with him from Coastal. So he's not just coming by himself. He's bringing staff. He's bringing players. He's bringing all of this. And I talked myself into this point yesterday when I was discussing it with Nick Harvey. Shout out to Nick for working with us for the past 2 days. We appreciate it. Yep, absolutely. But these are not just players. These are players who have won. These are players, in some cases, like Walker Mitchell, who have been to Omaha. Players who have won in the NCAA tournament. Players who have unlimited amounts of way more success than we've seen here in Columbia. These are players that are coming. So this is not the typical thing where you see, maybe a player from a G5 and it's like, oh, I don't know if they can compete at the next level. I don't know if they can play what's going to be. These are guys who are proven winners already. And on top of that, they're coming in here understanding Kevin Schnall's expectations, and they're going to be able to spread that. They're going to be like they're going to be preaching his gospel to the rest of the squad, whoever else it is. We don't do that here. This is how we do things. This is Schnall ball, whatever the case is. And so this is way more than just bringing in talented guys. These are guys who are already familiar with the system. And to me, that is the ultimate advantage of him bringing all these guys with him.
That was one thing, too, when I had Wells Sykes on a couple days ago on the post-game show, the guy who played for Kevin Schnall. He said the one thing that he noticed, even as he was a transfer from the Citadel, so he only had 1 year of eligibility to use when he went to Coastal and played. And he said it didn't matter if you were playing with him for years or if he knew you for years or not, he's going to treat you the same way as everybody else. So other players that are going to be transferring in from other schools are, in theory here, won't be feeling left out, right? Like they're not in on the inside joke here. They're going to be pretty involved. And you're going to get the same type of coaching that all these other guys have, even if they have a baseline understanding of what the expectation is for a Kevin Schnall coached program. Those guys are still going to be included, and they're still going to buy in. That was really the biggest takeaway that I had from talking to Wells, is that Kevin Schnall is a great communicator to the point where everybody is able to buy in. It's exciting.
I want to reiterate another point that I made yesterday because I didn't get a chance to make it to you. So I want to make this point to you.
Yes.
This sounds very similar to something that just happened in football. A coach from the G5 has expectations of winning, brings his players with them to a program. Those players are able to prove that they can not only compete on the G5, but they can compete at a major level with a specific style of play because they understand the coach's system. You're picking up what I'm putting down. I'm not saying that's it, and I'm not saying we should expect that because I'm talking about Kurt Signetti in Indiana, but I do see a lot of parallels between this idea of these players coming from one place and a coach coming from one place, hungry and ready to prove that what they did here, the reason why they were successful here, can work on the bigger stages also.
If we get a line from Kevin Schnall at the press conference saying, "I win, look me up on Bing," and then I'm going to be like, one, that sounds familiar. Two, why are you using Bing? Who does that?
Yeah, I would say, we'd rather he just copy Signetti and say Google it.
Also, it wouldn't quite hit the same if it says, "I win, chat GBT me."
Doesn't work the same.
That don't hit.
Ask your chat bot about me.
That don't hit.
Ask your preferred chat bot.
Don't hit.
I win. Ask Claude. No, I don't think I will, Kevin. I'm going to take your word for it on that.
Don't hit.
I think I'll just use Google instead.
We knew we were never going to hear that from Maneri.
No.
Well, what's this internet thing?
I win. Look me up in the box score. The dailies.
Look me up in the card catalog at the library.
Look me up in the old Baton Rouge newspapers. Ask your friends via Telegram. I hope you all know Morse code. No, we don't.
The Times-Picayune evening edition.
Times-Picayune me. Sorry you lost me there. I guess we're going to know nothing about your track record, Coach. I'm sorry. Oh, man. But coming up next, how excited are you about the idea of Schnall ball making its way here? Well, maybe the most important part of this hire, maybe the thing that's got me the most excited about this hire is something I think we'll see most evidently from day one. And I'll tell you what that is next as you listen to the early game.
Preston here for Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. If your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. Cracked windshield, no problem. They'll come out to your location and they'll replace it for you, usually for free, and they'll work directly with your insurance to take away the headache. That's right. They'll come out to wherever you are. School, home, work, it doesn't matter. Absolute Glass will come out to you and take care of the job for you. Now, if you're at home, you're looking to increase the value of your home, Absolute Glass can take care of that for you too. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures. Say it all the time. If you can see through it, Ray and Marianne at Absolute Glass can do it. So check them out online at absoluteglassinc.com. That's online at absoluteglassinc.com.
Things looking pretty good this morning on the highways. We are not seeing any accidents. That is good news there. Actually, no, just one popped in. Platte Springs Road at Winchester Drive. There is a report of an accident there. Aside from that, the weather just going to keep feeling a little bit warmer each day this week. 96 with sunshine today, 98 tomorrow, 95 on Saturday. Starting off your morning at 73.
Schnall ball is here. And I think the thing I'm most excited about when it comes to this hire is that there's no longer an identity crisis with South Carolina baseball. It is a brand. It is a visible thing that you'll be able to notice on game one. Then once you get into the SEC, I think you'll see it as well. It's one of the reasons why I respected Kentucky's baseball program the last couple of years. The rise they made under Nick Mingione, because they're just different than everybody else. They have their own brand of play. Now, the Schnall ball stickers that are going to be going around and circulating here really soon.
There's already T-shirts out there you can buy.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
I know our friends over at Gamecock Traditions were
working on. Oh yeah, they were working on stuff too.
May or may not have been a frequenter of the Traditions building in the last couple weeks, and buddy, I know they were prepared for this to happen because of the brandability. But you're going to see the shirts circulating. You're going to see the stickers circulating. You're going to see all this type of stuff.
And the event on Friday night kicking things off. Mm-hmm. That's pretty fun to welcome him.
So you're going to get a lot of excitement. But I think maybe the most excitement, at least that comes from me personally, is seeing a brand of baseball that we can expect on day one that is going to look different than just what we've had to watch the last couple of years.
Doesn't it feel like, okay, the teacher's back? The substitute teacher has been in for a while, so there's been chaos in the classroom, and, there's shenanigans, and we're not really learning a lot. Now the teacher's back.
It absolutely feels that way.
We've been doing worksheet packets for the past 2 years.
We watch a lot of, watch a bunch of movies.
And we're not even finishing those packets either.
Yeah.
Just.
There's coloring
That's a great
sheets
analogy.
involved.
Yeah.
To me, that's what it feels like. It's like, I just feel the sense of, okay, control. We're back. There's not just this fluid anything. So anyway, yeah, the teacher's back.
I think it's going to reflect on a baseball field too, just because the style of play to me is number one.
Well, the Schnall ball, it's not that it's just rhymes, but it's a play on the word small ball, correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct. Yeah.
I saw the phrase referred to as ants in your pants offense. And that just made me think, okay, I like it. Because when you have ants on your pants, you can't sit still. When you have ants in your pants, you're moving around.
You got to get them out of your pants.
You got to do something. And so this is not going to be sitting around waiting for the long ball or waiting for something to happen. This seems to me to be a style of offense, which we will see. There's plenty of proof of concept at Coastal already, where teams produce runs.
Mm-hmm.
That is very exciting.
I think Joe Morgan, who was on the Sunday Night Baseball broadcast for a long time, they would do, him and John Miller would do playoff games too. And
Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, Cincinnati Reds, great. Big Red Machine, Joe Morgan. And
don't let the spirit hit.
I'm fighting it. I'm holding on so hard. So I could go all day. But
Johnny Bitch.
Oh, man. Ken Griffey Jr. But he would, on a lot of their broadcasts, especially in the early 2000s, like when the Oakland A's, the Moneyball teams were in the playoffs, and they were so analytically advanced, and at the time, like that type of thing scared a lot of people. But Joe Morgan said, the difference between the regular season and the postseason is in the postseason you have to manufacture runs, and it's one of those things where it's like, well, duh, you need to be able to create runs, but the way he said, the way he used the term, manufacture them, is a little bit different. You can't just swing for the fences all the time. The pitching's going to be better. The managing is going to be a lot different in terms of how those arms are deployed throughout games. You're not always going to have pitches to hit over the fence, every single inning. You're going to have to be able to move runners over. You got to be able to just constantly get the ball in play and give your runners a chance to be able to come home. You might have to really weigh out aggressiveness on the base pass. You might have to steal a base here or there. In the playoffs, if the game's going to be lower scoring, you got to find ways to just create runs with the opportunities of fewer hits that you're going to have. And that was always Joe Morgan's knock on, like how the Oakland A's played, and that's why, they, as Billy Bean says in the book, my bleep doesn't work in the playoffs. Because they couldn't manufacture runs. And it sounds so self-explanatory and even a little silly, but it makes a lot of sense. What Schnall ball is the art of manufacturing runs through each game. Wells Sykes said, when he was on with me a couple days ago, former Coastal Carolina baseball player who played for Kevin Schnall, he said, we had a whole saying within the locker room that if we get to 7 runs, our pitching staff will win us a game. If we can just get to 7 runs, In any game, our pitching staff will be able to win us that baseball game. And that was their belief. In that year, especially in 2025, it came to fruition because they had a really good starting rotation. They had a really good bullpen. It was maybe one of the more complete pitching staffs in America. Also led by Matt Williams coaching, who will be here. So with that thinking, I mean, how many times this year, did you see South Carolina be able to get 7 runs and still lose the game? Or maybe not be able to manufacture 7 runs because you're striking out a lot? Or how many times have we said the term runners left on base in the last 2 years? The whole idea of Schnall ball is if you get a runner on base, you're going to do what it takes to be able to get them home and squeeze out runs no matter how you have to do it.
I would love the analytics I don't have the capabilities of doing that. I know they have these numbers, but how many runners were left on first base this year? Like a guy gets to first and we just swing and miss 9 times and we're out of an inning. As opposed to a guy gets on first, he steals second. He gets bunted over to third, hits a infield ball the other way, and he comes in, and now you've manufactured a run without even getting an actual hit. And those things can happen, especially if your team is struggling on offense or, the bats are here or there. There's a correlation that I think is obviously made between the analytics game, waiting on the long ball, waiting on the 3, waiting on the deep ball. Those are all great, but at some point in every sport, you're going to have to bunt. You're going to have to get the ball in the paint, the Spurs. You're going to have to run the ball. At some point in every sport, you're going to have to matriculate down the field or get a bucket or move the runner.
Have some type of progress.
You have to be able to do these things when things get tight, especially against these tough competitions. And when a team is built and primed on that, and that's their identity, this is what we do. When we get excited about laying the bunt down, and I'm just telling us as fans, when a player lays a bunt down, we need to give them as much of an ovation as we do when they hit a home run. That needs to be a thing.
Is to over-celebrate bunts.
Over-celebrate, like when your child, I'm coming out of the stage, thankfully, but when your child goes potty for the first time and you're like, oh, man, what a great job. You tinkered on the pee-pee pot. Nice job. That's how we got to treat these bunts. We got to let them know that we appreciate it. This is a good thing.
Yeah, because all of the elements are coming together and they all contribute to runs.
That's right. You want a little bit of M&Ms? Oh, my God.
There you go.
You know what? I'll be the M&M girl. I'll be throwing them out on the field if they get a good bunt. I'm there for you.
Put a bunt down, M&Ms for you. Little baby M&Ms for you.
Everybody.
Clapping them up.
See, I love that. I love that idea of playing baseball because it can still win. We've gone away from it as a sport, but I've used this example on air a few times. Like the Tampa Bay Rays are one of the best teams in the American League not because they're hitting a bunch of home runs. They're at the bottom of the league in home runs. If you do a lot of the nerdy StatCast stuff, they're not barreling a lot of balls. They're not hitting a ton of extra base hits. They're stealing more bases than everybody. They're sacrificing more than everybody. And the Rays with a lineup that you could look at and you might be able to recognize a name on there, they're still the best teams in the American League. And with a payroll of like $35 and paying players in Doritos, they're able to be one of the better teams in baseball. This style of play can still win, and there's proof of concept with what Kevin Schnall has done at Coastal Carolina already.
I believe the Brewers fall in that same category, correct?
The Brewers also. They don't rely on a ton of power. They just get runs where they can, and the pitching for the Brewers especially has been so good that it helps to be able to not have pressure to put up 8 or 9 runs throughout the course of a baseball game. But coming up next, there is one player in all of college football who has made himself the villain. Is he actually worth becoming the villain? Well, we'll get to a little blind resume exercise coming up next here on the early game.
All right, y'all. I've been trying to tell you that we were not going to be blessed with that nice, cool climate for long. I knew, as you did, that the summer was on the way and the weather was going to start heating it up. Well, the folks from AAA Heating and Air are here to help you because your home comfort is their top priority. You probably don't need to wait much longer because it's about to get hot. And if your AC is not up to task, you need to call the folks from AAA Heating and Air. The expert technicians are ready to get your system in prime working condition with a thorough seasonal inspection and cleaning. If you want even more peace of mind, ask about the AAA Comfort Club, where members enjoy priority scheduling, flexible visits, and exclusive discounts. Take your home comfort to the next level and beat the heat before it hits. Call AAA Heating and Air today at 803-920-3771. That's 803-920-3771.
I-77 northbound at Forest Drive. Also at 277 exit 18. So exits 12 and 18. Accidents reported along I-77 northbound. And actually one more when you get to exit 22 Killian Road. There's also an accident there. So a lot happening on I-77 northbound this morning. And if you like warm temperatures, oh, we're here for you. 96 today, 98 tomorrow. Will be a 95 on Saturday, 73 right now.
Brendan Sorsby went from being a quarterback at Cincinnati, playing in some level of college football obscurity, into becoming the biggest villain in college football. Before we even get to this blind resume exercise here, buddy, when he takes the field for the first time in a road game, hope they have extra security.
I was at the game way back in the year 1999 when Peter Warwick returned to football playing a Memorial Stadium after he had been suspended for receiving a pair of shoes from a local department store. I believe it was Dillard's. And the folks on the hill at Clemson had Dillard's bags all over, and they were just waving the Dillard's bags around. And I was like, fair. This is good. I like
because that's how they carried all the manure for the farm stuff.
I wasn't going to go there, Jen. You can, that's all you. You're a farm girl. You can make that joke. I'm not here for it. I can't do that. But I like it. I saw that in person. I think he proceeded to catch a punt and house it.
Because Peter Warwick was,
because he's Pete Dub.
He was that dude.
I say that to go back to what you're saying. Continue, sir.
It's gonna get gnarly for Brendan Sorsby, and I still don't understand how him going through that is going to be a positive for his mental health, since that's clearly the issue at hand.
Won't be
here
great.
For Texas Tech. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to be great for it. But is it actually worth it? From a football standpoint, is Brendan Sorsby actually any good? So I have a blind resume exercise here for you, Preston Thorne.
Let's go.
Quarterback A, 2,782 yards. With 26 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 23 big-time throws, 7 turnover-worthy plays, an average depth of target of 10.6 yards, 71% adjusted completion, 86 passing grade, 76.9 run grade. Player B, 2,433 yards, so 300 yards shy. 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 15 big-time throws, 14 turnover-worthy plays, 9.5 average depth of target, 70.3 adjusted completion percentage, 66.9 pass grade, 72.4 run grade.
The one number that stood out to me out of all of them, the passing yards, 400 yards, that's negligible. I'll see whatever that is. The big-time throws, one of those quarterbacks had significantly more big-time throws than the other. I think it was 23 to 16.
Yeah, 26 to 13.
26 to even more than that. 26 to 13. Okay.
Or 23 to 15. Sorry, I was looking at touchdowns. 23 to 15.
Okay, 23 to 15 big-time throws, and then 26 to 13 touchdowns. Well, all right, give me the quarterback who has more of those two things.
Yes, and half of the turnover-worthy plays. Well, quarterback A is Brendan Sorsby. Quarterback B was Lenora Sellers last year.
Okay. Quarterback A, who had the more big-time throws, who had more touchdowns, and who had less turnover plays, was Brendan Sorsby.
Correct.
Quarterback B was Lenora Sellers, but as
2025.
As my always caveat, what year?
That would be 2025.
Okay. I am willing to give Lenoris a reprieve for anything that happened on the field in 2025.
Well, and here's the point I was going to make too. The market value for both those quarterbacks is about the same, because Brendan Sorsby is getting $5 million, and Lenora Sellers would have gotten something like that if he were I don't know what he's making here at South Carolina right now, but
there were reports
that
Miami, that specifically,
LSU
Was
might
in
have
the
been
game.
sniffing around too.
Mm-hmm.
That there were some big time schools that wanted Lenora Sellers, and I think they understand the context behind a lot of those numbers.
Well, I think you laying that out, us knowing the value of Lenora to us as an organization, as a fan base, as a team, as a squad, as a crew, as a clan, maybe.
Let's see.
That's why this whole thing makes sense as to why Texas Tech is going through this embarrassing charade because of those numbers.
Because it's the thing too. I didn't want to do this to disparage Lenoris. And we know what Lenora Sellers is, right? You don't need me to explain the quarterback Lenora Sellers is. There's still growth that he needs to make, right? I think we all understand that, and I think that's why a lot of people are excited about the hiring of Kendall Briles to be the offensive coordinator. But Brendan Sorsby had a really good year at Cincinnati, especially in the back half of the year. Didn't play so well against good competition early, and Brendan Sorsby does have 0 wins against ranked opponents in his career. 0. That's also a big deal, is because a lot of those numbers could have been against defenses that some might say were buns. I had Clark Brooks on from On 3 yesterday. The SEC StatCat does a lot of really good deep dive stuff, and that was the one thing he said was when you filter out, those teams and you play them against top 30 SP plus defenses, they look a little bit different. Now, he's not going to see a ton of SP plus 30 defenses in the Big 12. You'll see some, but you're not going to see an overwhelming amount of them because, again, Cincinnati also in the Big 12.
Well, the question that we have is, the question that you posed is he worth it?
I don't think he's worth all this trouble.
I disagree. And it's not for me personally, but from Texas Tech's standpoint, they're looking at their trip to the CFP last year, and they know that they were short by one position. And what position was that?
That'd be quarterback.
That would be quarterback. And I think they're willing to swallow all of their morals, integrity, to get to that mountaintop. And I think that's what they're doing. I personally agree. I don't think he should play. Let me be clear on that. But as an organization, when you hear those numbers and you feel like the only thing that held you back from winning a championship last year was having a quarterback, that's the reason why we're even having this Brendan Sorsby conversation. They went out and spent that money and got this guy because they felt that they were hamstrung by one position last year, and that was quarterback.
Now, if I told you there was a quarterback that existed that threw for 2,780 yards, just 2 yards shorter than Brendan Sorsby, threw for only 4 fewer touchdowns, same amount of interceptions, same amount of big-time throws, a lot more turnover-worthy plays, you would say those quarterbacks are relatively comparable.
Yes.
Well, that other quarterback was Baron Morton, who was the quarterback for Texas Tech last year. So you're pretty much trading for the same quarterback this year. Sorsby, to his credit, better at avoiding turnovers. And paying $5 million for it.
Yes. Because we're not being rational.
They're not being rational here.
We got so close.
They're not being rational at all. Absolutely brutal. Because
that's a great counterpoint. Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's now that net.
And I'm sure somebody with some sense brought that up in the conversation in a meeting, and they were like, we don't care. We're going to do it anyway.
They're playing that on full blast. We're going to take him to court anyway.
We're going to play him anyway.
I guarantee it that the numbers that Brendan Sorsby had last year will be in decline this year because I don't know how you can handle all of that is going on right now. And you being the most hated person in all of college sports, he does not seem like the kind that would absolutely thrive in that type of environment. But that could end up being bad for him. And those numbers can end up being worse. But this situation has gotten worse and only gotten more pathetic, and we'll let you listen as to why. We'll play that clip for you next year on the early game. Just when you thought the Texas Tech situation already couldn't be more pitiful, and that the situation that we are currently existing in as a college sports society couldn't get more pitiful, some people from Texas Tech decided to speak yesterday. And I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. Might have been best if you just didn't. Because what you're about to hear is Texas Tech head football coach Joey McGuire speaking on the Brendan Sorsby situation and coming up with a rather interesting defense.
Is recovering from an addiction. He's recovering. Like, I've sat down with this young man multiple times, and the things that he is going through and what he's been through is serious. As a society, we've been okay with other things that happens and allowing players to play, and this has been the one thing that has united people that we're against, you know. And it's crazy because it's not murder, it's not beating somebody, or there's a lot of things that we're working through.
It's not murder, so you know what? We should let this kid play.
Good defense. Good defense. I like it.
It's unreal. Also, this whole thing, if they're really hammering the point of this kid is going through a serious addiction, a serious mental illness here. So what we're going to do is, even though this decision is the most unpopular in America right now, we're going to throw him in the fire there, and we're going to let him play through all of this because things are just going to be totally cool for him after.
Okay, I have a question. Sorensby is on the captain of the swim team.
Mm-hmm.
Is he still on the team, or is he off?
Absolutely not.
We can take that same question and just go back to the last segment. If Sorsby is the backup quarterback, the third-string offensive guard, maybe even the first offensive guard, he is not going to be in this position.
If Brendan Sorsby was the third-string quarterback as a redshirt freshman at Indiana, what do you think he might have been when he did all of this? They would have cut him. They wouldn't have cared. They said, we know you can get your mental health assistance somewhere else.
And kids, this is a great lesson for everybody to know that oftentimes your position in a company, in a family, and wherever may be swayed by the leverage that you have. That's a fact of life. If we're talking about teaching kids life lessons,
this is one
we want
right
to teach
here.
them. You want to teach college kids life lessons? Hey, some people have a different thing. There's always that Jimmy Johnson quote where he talks about Troy Aikman sleeping in a meeting versus the backup cornerback sleeping in a meeting. If Troy Aikman is sleeping in a meeting, I wake him up. If the second-string cornerback is sleeping in a meeting, he gets cut.
Yep.
Maybe that's the lesson that we all need to learn, that everybody needs to learn from this. But the idea of saying, oh, he didn't murder anybody. Well, okay.
Okay, great. Yeah, hang the banner, buddy. Hang the banner in the stadium. Oh, yeah, he didn't kill anybody.
And all of those, nobody's saying any of those other things are great. Nobody's saying that's a possibility. But sometimes you have a specific job. If you're the treasurer of an organization, you can't do money things.
Yeah.
Like that's the one thing you can't do as the treasurer. And I feel like this is a very similar thing. Like we don't condone assault. We don't condone any of these other things. But there's one thing you cannot do as an athlete, and that is jeopardize the integrity of the games that you play.
And there's plenty of precedent.
That's it. We don't want you to do any of these other things, but this is the one thing you really can't do.
Yeah, the ultimate rule here. And the way Texas Tech is bending over backwards, like Cody Campbell even, talked about the idea that, nobody wanted to boycott no one wanted to boycott Penn State after all the atrocities that happened there. Well, yeah, buddy, because the people that were in charge there no longer had their job. If they still had their job and people, didn't boycott them, then yes, apples for apples comparison. But not even. Nobody associated with that scandal was at Penn State. You know why? They lost their jobs. Everybody in that school lost their jobs because of that. I
didn't hear that one.
Oh, that was popular.
Boy.
That was very popular on the internet yesterday.
All right.
Just an absolute ridiculous showing of false equivalency at its finest. They'll do whatever they can to justify playing this kid, whether it's saying that his mental health won't be good if we just don't play him. That's the most embarrassing thing for Texas Tech, especially for someone like Cody Campbell, Mr. Save College Sports.
Yeah.
We gotta save college sports.
What a very interesting position this guy's put himself in.
I'm telling you, if anybody's on the forefront of saving college sports while also being a mega donor to their school and doing something like this, I should tell you, all of their efforts to save college sports is only a little self-serving.
Correct.
You guys have to abide by rules, but we don't, because my school matters more than yours, because I have money. That's Cody Campbell in a nutshell. Coming up next, though, playoffs, including maybe the greatest playoff comeback of all time.
All right, guys, it's June. Maybe you've been working out since January when you made your resolutions and you're not getting the results that you thought you was going to get. Well, maybe it's time to call Dr. Dan Baltnight at the Men's Clinic. Dr. Dan Baltnight is a respected local physician, and he'll get to the bottom of whatever it is that you're feeling. This isn't some nameless, faceless online portal chatbot. It is an actual human being that will talk to you and personally tailor your treatment based on your labs and symptoms. Your labs and symptoms comes from your initial consultation, which is absolutely free. Come in to Dr. Dan Baltnight at the Men's Clinic and get your T levels checked. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. So don't wait. Call him at 803-875-MENS. That's 803-875-MENS. Or you can visit him online at mensclinicsc.com.
If you look to be cruising up I-77 northbound, allow a little extra time. A few slowdowns along the way. Exit 12, Forest Drive, exit 19, Faro Road, and exit 22, Killian Road, all have incidences reported. So just be mindful of that, and also be mindful you want to hydrate if you're going to be outside at all for the next few days. Sunny and 96 today, sunny and 98 tomorrow, 95 on your Saturday. And it looks like maybe the next chance of rain coming in later on Sunday. But even Sunday's high will be 96. Right now, 74.
Hour number 2 of the early game starts right now. I'm Elijah Campbell. He's Preston Thorne. She's Jen Jensen. And, Jim, you're going to have to wait. We're going to ask you to wait. Let's cue in.
He's excited.
I think I see another coach there, too. Wow. But we'll see who it is. It's dark out there outside the studio. We'll let them in a second. But first, we'll go to the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. Our pal Marv wanted to weigh in at the topic of the last segment. Good morning, Marv. Welcome to the early game.
Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I want to bring up a quick point. I was an alcoholic. I've been sober for 12 years. Do you know what my friends never did 3 days from me becoming sober? They never asked me to be their designated driver and go to the bar with them. This coach acting like he's saving this young man from his addiction when he's putting him right into the very thing he's addicted to betting against. This reeks of failure on the coach's part. He's failing this young man if he's doing anything. And I'll just hang up and listen. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you for the call, Marvin. Congratulations on your 12 years of sobriety. That is not an easy journey.
Day by day.
That is not an easy journey whatsoever. And I think what Marv really hits on there is just how disingenuous the entire thing is. The entire thing is disingenuous. They found one angle where they could say, all right, this is going to be our PR strategy. But here's a good PR strategy, too. Not saying a damn thing might also be your best PR strategy, because this only made it worse. This whole idea of, well, we're just trying to support him through a problem, in which, yes, what Marv has said is absolutely correct. You're putting him in a world where he has already made the same situation in which he already made these type of mistakes. You're just thrusting him back in there. And then you're talking about, doing this for his mental health. His mental health, won't be able to handle not being able to play. If we take him away from all of his teammates and the support system that we have here at Texas Tech and all of the mental health resources, we're really doing this kid a disservice. Well, you can keep him around.
Exactly.
You don't have to play him. No one's holding a gun to your head and saying you have to play him.
Is that the only time that his player friends are going to support him, is if he's on the team? Well, then, kind of goes back to the whole thing of, well, they're not good friends.
Yep. And you're not a good coach if the only way you can support him is if he's your starting quarterback. If the only way you can support him is if he is wearing your uniform and wearing the pads and a helmet on Saturdays, if that's the only way you can support him, you don't really care about the kid to begin with. And you're using him and his problem as a shield. And that is exactly that's why this is so embarrassing. That is why it's so blatantly embarrassing and insulting to that kid, too. Yep. You're not doing him a service. You're not doing him any service. Because you know what you're also doing? Making him the most hated player in college football. He just becomes a player if he does not play another snap in college football like he should, like that should be the case. He would have just been another player who was an example of why you don't do this. But now that you're allowing him to play and you go out of your way, you get a ruling from the NCAA you didn't like, and you cry and run to the closest judge that is going to give you a favorable ruling, get a favorable ruling and play him anyway, do you think it's going to be great for his mental health when he is booed into oblivion every single road game he goes to? Or the jokes that are going to be made about him on social media when he makes his first errant pass that gets picked off and run the other way? Or makes a bad decision throwing into coverage and it looks like a terrible interception? The first pick he throws this year, how many jokes are you going to see online about, he has the under?
Yeah, and as we all know, the folks online are obviously they always make sure to protect people's mental health when making comments about
Oh,
Old Trafford.
totally.
That's what the
for
people.
sure.
That's what people. Because there's gonna be somebody. Hey guys, let's not do this because we all know that's not how online works, and we also know that this is where these people live. These young people are living. So it's not as if he's going to be able to filter out the conversation surrounding him.
I bet he's going to have a good season. I bet he's going to have 2 touchdowns this year. I mean, it'll get ugly.
It won't stop.
He'll throw a pick on a road game, and the student section is going to be chanting, "Took the under," and you're gonna get that. Is that great for his mental health? No. You're going to throw picks in a season. That's how
he's
football
tough. He's
works.
tough.
But not too tough not to play.
Correct.
He wouldn't have been able to handle
Yeah,
that.
that's what you're going to see is
Again.
all this stuff. He's tough.
I saw the Dillard's bags. I saw it. And he just got a little hookup. He just got a little discount, man. He just got a little discount.
Free Shoes University, FSU.
Shout out to Spurrier.
Oh man, so yeah, just as disingenuous a response as you could hear from an institution of higher education. All right, with that being said, now we can introduce our boy Jim Mora.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
And today, Jim Mora brought a coaching friend. Because Jim, hey Jim, thank you for holding on. But who's your friend over there?
I gotta ask a question. Can you win a game in the first quarter? No! Can you win the game in the second quarter? No! Can you win the game in the third quarter? No! Can you win the game in the fourth quarter? Yeah!
That's Pete Carroll.
Shout out to Pete.
Or maybe was it Mike Brown? Or was it Mike Brown? I don't know. It's impossible to tell because last night, historic what went down. Even if you were just not a fan of basketball or the NBA, that was a remarkable sports story because the Spurs had the Knicks down 29 points at one point. It was, I think, 27 at halftime. Got them down 29 in the third quarter, led by as much as 20 in the fourth quarter, and the Knicks came back and won. They held the Spurs to 30 second half points. They took their first lead late in the game. And with 5 seconds left, Jalen Brunson chucks up a three. No one boxes out OG Anunoby. Brunson misses. Tip back with 1.2 seconds left.
It was It's phenomenal basketball. This has been a great series all around. But that game last night, I mean, there's obviously the sports talk conversation. Did the Knicks win or did the Spurs lose? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
The answer is yes.
All the above.
Yes, they did. That last play, if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out wherever you check things out because we talked about the actual basketball behind the last play that happened. I'm gonna cede it to you and I'll fill in, but there was real basketball things happening, not just magic, that made that final play possible.
It may have appeared to be magic because of just how wild the sequence was.
As you said, it's magical.
It was magical, and it created a magical moment. That play will be on NBA highlight reels.
Forever, as it should be.
Highlight reels, if you go like on YouTube and you're like, greatest sports finishes of all time, you're going to see that
it should
on
be.
there. But it was also by design. Because what the Spurs have been doing so many times this series is that if Jalen Brunson has the ball near the top of the key and he's kind of on an island, the Spurs will send help, especially late in shot clock situations, late in quarter situations. They will send a double over there to get the ball out of his hands because of what Jalen Brunson's been doing just the entire playoff run in terms of hitting shots late in games. And Mike Brown knew that when Anunoby inbounds the ball to Jalen Brunson, even if it's far away from the basket, Devin Vassell, who is guarding the inbound pass, is going to go over where Brunson is. Brunson's going to see two bodies. The shot early in the clock was so you could have time for an offensive rebound. And you notice there's two options on that. Anunoby inbounds the ball. He stops for a little bit. He gets inbounds and stops for a little bit in case Brunson wanted to kick it out because he was going to be open for a three. Or Brunson shoots, and nobody has a chance to box out Anunoby. And he beelined it. As soon as Brunson goes into his form to go up and shoot, Anunoby takes a straight line to that basket. And because there's two on the ball, that means you're going to have a +1 rebounding advantage for the shot that's up. So Brunson was either going to hit the shot, or you do have an additional advantage in terms of getting offensive rebound and trying for a second chance. And it worked out as well as it possibly could have for Mike Brown. So credit to Mike Brown, because that may look like it was kind of helter-skelter and all kind of created by circumstance. There was more behind that than it might have looked in real time.
Yeah, and so to the casual, to the eye, it looks like this thing that happens and magic happens. But as with all sports, there are actual execution elements that have to happen in order for anything to take place on the court. And what OG does, and we were talking about this pre-show, what OG does, which is so difficult in that moment, it's the biggest moment of any of these players' basketball playing lives. The thing that you could easily do is pass the ball into Jalen Brunson and watch him go to work. He's the best player on the team. It's very easy to, man, I hope he makes this shot. But that's not what OG did.
Hope is not a strategy.
Hope is not a strategy. He passes the ball and continues to play basketball by crashing the rim. Things that you are probably telling your 5th grade AAU team to do. Follow your shot. Crash the boards. All this stuff that we know about basketball, you still have to do it when it counts. On the flip side, Dylan Harper, you got to find a body. You have. So this, when we say, did the Knicks win or did the Spurs lose? Yes. Because OG had the presence of mind to continue playing basketball. And Dylan Harper, he was playing, he tried, but he did not execute a fundamental aspect of basketball. Find a body, put your booty on him, and box out. And he didn't do that.
Nope. Rookie mistake.
And in that moment, the slightest basketball thing becomes the biggest moment. I don't know, we're right here in history, but I don't know, I would easily say top 5 moment in NBA history. When this thing, if this thing happens, that's going to be a top 5 moment in NBA history. I was like 9 or 10 years old when Jordan did the up and under move, and we see that all the time, right? And a lot of times people would be like, oh, what was the big deal about that? Well, you had to be there to see it, right? The Ray Allen shot against the Spurs, this is going to be a top 5 moment in NBA history, and it all comes down to execution of basic basketball elements.
And there's like so many that goes in this game too, because not only did OJ Anunoby do that, the play before where the Knicks have the ball down 1, and Jalen Brunson's getting ready to go into the lane. Victor Wembanyama makes an incredible block off the backboard, swats that thing right off the backboard. De'Aaron Fox ends up getting the ball because it gets poked out, and instead of dribbling the clock out, he tries to score.
What are you doing?
A complete brain-dead moment. If you want to sum up young and dumb Spurs, as good as they've been, as great as they've been, not just good, they've been great, but they've also had stretches where they get completely young and dumb.
But he's supposed to not be the young or dumb one. He's not supposed to be.
That's the ironic part, was De'Aaron Fox is one of the oldest players on the team, and he said, you know what, I want to go up here, and OG Anunoby tracks him down and blocks the shot and makes it a 1-point game to where that putback was enough to win it.
Don't you want your players to keep playing? Keep hustling. The play's never over. Fight. Whatever coaching cliche you're throwing out there to your summer league basketball team, these dudes at the highest level did it.
OG Anunoby did it on 2 straight plays, and that won them the game. That's your MVP right there. When the Knicks win this thing, because they're going to win this thing now. Like that, you are not coming back from that.
That's difficult to recover from.
Yeah, you are not. I do not care who you are and who is on your team. You are not recovering from that. So congratulations, Knicks, on your NBA title. That's about to happen. And OG Anunoby should be the MVP. He also hit a bunch of threes last night.
For 33? Did he have final?
I think he went for 33. I think that ended up being the final tally.
That's what being a professional athlete is. Yes, he can run. Yes, he can jump. He can dunk. He has all the measurables. But the focus of mind to show up and make those plays in that moment is incredible.
And to do all of that after trailing by as many as 29 points in the second half. It's the largest comeback in NBA playoff history, largest comeback in finals history. And you know what this feels like? It kind of feels like 28-3. It kind of feels like the Houston Oilers choking away a 35-3 lead against the Buffalo Bills when Frank Reich engineered that comeback. This is going to go down as one of the greatest sports comebacks in any sport, at any level, anytime, anywhere. It was improbable. And then you add the element of it was at Madison Square Garden, packed house, all of the very notable faces in the crowd too.
Because you know it started to come back. Think we're going to get it on the morning meeting?
Because there is one. You can, and just using logic here, you can attribute that historic comeback last night to one famous musical group. And I'm telling you right now, they're nothing to mess with. And we'll tell you who next for the morning meeting here in the early game.
Preston here for our friends at Integrated Media. Listen, if you would have called the folks from Integrated Media, you might have been able to witness maybe the greatest comeback, not maybe, the greatest comeback in NBA Finals history on your screens, on your TV with the sound system going, but you didn't, and that's okay because more great sports moments will happen, and the folks from Integrated Media can help you out. What can they make it look like? Well, first and foremost, Sonos outdoor speakers for TV and music. Wi-Fi that works indoors and outdoors, so you can have all your devices playing at the same time without having to worry about buffering, lagging, or any of the silly nonsense to get you caught up. What if you would have missed that last second shot by OG Anunoby because your screen was buffering? That would have been a bummer. You don't want that to happen. The folks from Integrated Media can help you. So call Nathan and Michael at 803-948-8327. That's 803-948-8327. Or you can reach them online at integratedmediainc.com.
I-26 eastbound there at Highway 21, also known as exit 129. There's an accident. And earlier tie-ups on I-77 have been cleared except for I-77 northbound at Faro Road. Lots of warmth in the forecast through pretty much the weekend. 96 today, 98 tomorrow. Might see some rain Sunday afternoon or evening, but currently trying to warm up, 74.
A historic comeback at Madison Square Garden last night. And yeah, we could explain all the basketball and sports stuff that happened to lead to one of the crazier things you will ever see in sports. But there's only one real explanation. We'll tell you what that is for this morning's morning meeting.
Good morning. Good morning. Repeat after me. Today will be an awesome day.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Let's go. Good morning, great today. Today will be an awesome day. Good morning, great today. Today will be an awesome day.
You ready for the craziest music turnaround in the history of the early game? Are you ready for this?
We have guests.
Because we do have a musical guest. The real reason the New York Knicks sparked a 29-point comeback to win Game 4 last night was because of this performance at halftime. Emphasis on the S.
Very close.
New York Knicks ain't nothing to fuss with. It's no place to hide once I step inside your room. Dr. Doom, prepare for the boom. Bam, man, I slam. Jam, that's me. Tossing. I be tossing and forcing. My style is awesome.
I am here.
I am here. How could that happen at MSG? How could you summon the Wu-Tang Clan and not come back from a 29-point deficit?
Brother, I was sitting on my couch. I had just put my daughter to bed. The house is quiet. Halftime starts to happen. I stand up from the couch. I have been summoned. I am rising at attention. And the spirit hits.
Oh, he could feel it.
I felt the spirit start to happen. There's no better place to name dudes than the Wu-Tang Clan. There's 9 of them, sometimes 10. The RZA.
The Jizza.
Old Dirty Bastard.
Inspector Deck.
You gone.
Ghostface Killer.
And the Method Man. Capadonna. Master Killer. And then I start thinking, there's so many other levels because, again, this is 12-year-old Preston. So many of these dudes. What you know about mathematics. Fourth Disciple. The Killer Bees. Killer Priest. And then every Wu-Tang dude has 3 other nicknames. So you can't just be Method Man. You got to be Takal. You got to be Hot Nicks. You got to be all these other dudes. Ghostface Killer, he's not just Ghostface. He's Tony Starks. He's Iron Man. Raekwon the Chef. All these dudes have so many different names. I can name 50 different names. And when I, a 44-year-old hip-hop 90s diehard freak, saw the Wu-Tang Clan on my TV, I stood at attention.
And just start naming dudes.
Just naming dudes. Naming albums. Naming songs. Oh, my God. And I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. I was possessed by the Wu-Tang Killer Bees. You might not know this. In 9th grade, I didn't do it often, only a couple times, but in 9th grade, when the Wu-Tang double CD came out, I skipped school. I went to the store. I bought the double CD. Me, Jamal Fogle, James Carrington. We got in James's mother's minivan.
Oh, even better.
We got in the minivan. And we went and we bought the double CD, cracked it open. Reunite is the first song. Oh, the Wu-Tang is back. I bomb atomically. I'm possessed. A sleeper cell within me.
Awoke right there.
He's awake.
And what do you think that did for everybody in that arena?
There's no more New York thing. So I have a proposal. There's only one way to top this. They had Cardi B. Good try.
Yeah, nice try.
I feel like that's a great representation of New York now. Good try. You went backwards to the 90s for the Woo. Great execution. They bring you back from 29 points down. There's only one way to do this.
Barbara Streisand.
Good call. We've had two great calls here. But
Very New
I
York.
know I have the trump card. Billy Joel.
Ooh.
Billy Joel has to perform at halftime, sing New York State of Mind, and get the crowd going. It
It's
has
got
to
chills.
happen. It has to happen. I don't know if you saw it. His name is in the rafters.
It is.
He's done 150 shows in the Garden.
That's yeah. He just wrapped up that whole.
just
thing.
wrapped up the
And I know, 'cause
residency,
I would
right?
have loved to have gone.
It has to happen.
them. Yep.
It has to happen.
And you know he would do it.
He has to do it.
Oh yeah.
This has to happen. I'm talking to the PR folks. I'll give you this one for free.
This is a freebie.
This is a freebie. Billy Joel,
I bet Billy would do it for free.
he has to do it.
Oh, I think he would.
He has to
Yeah.
do it. I'm in a New York state of mind. Oh my God, the place would fall to pieces.
If anything, the Knicks need to lose Game 5 so we can get to Game 6 in the Garden. That way, we can actually have this whole thing. Are they going to throw Game 5 just because we have such a great marketing strategy here?
This has to happen. But Elijah, I cannot emphasize the level of oh my God.
Oh, I was sitting in the living room by myself, and I was like, wait, is that the Wu-Tang Clan? And then Draymond Green and Shaq start, singing along, and I'm like, can we just cut to that?
Yeah, show the performance. Show the performance. Also, Shaq, the RZA, Method Man, No Hooks. Shaq had a song with the Wu-Tang Clan. Shaq had a song with
I
the
didn't know
Wu-Tang.
that.
He sure did.
He's an honorary member of the Wu-Tang Clan.
He had one, and it was a banger too. I was transported to Preston Thorne, circa 12 to 15, sitting in my room, watching Rap City, waiting for the next Wu-Tang video to come on. And the thing about the Wu, there's 9 members, and they all had solo albums. That's what the RZA's like the GM, and he produces all the songs, and then he produces for all these different dudes. You have Method Man, who's the kind of like the reluctant sex symbol of the squad, right? He doesn't want to be a sex symbol, but he is, because he's the Method Man. Then you have Raekwon and Ghostface, the dynamic duo. They always together. They rap together all the time. Inspect the Deck, unsung hero of the group. He always leads things off. I could go on and on forever, but in that moment, I stood up at attention and saluted.
So I'm wondering, can we summon your wife and get her reaction to all of this? I'd love to hear that story.
This is the thing.
My husband was possessed.
No women allowed in this one. This is the He-Man Women Haters Club. This is all dude stuff right now. This is slightly before girls enter the picture. So this is when Preston is just in his room playing Madden, headphones, listening to Wu-Tang.
Best days of our lives.
Wow.
Dare I say it?
Whew, okay.
Can I name drop one more? But it's not an individual name.
Please.
Gravediggers.
Oh my gosh. Prince Paul. Oh my gosh.
Oh, man. One of the all-time great side projects.
Side quest for the RZA. Bobby Digital. The first time I ever heard about this whole thing about digital worlds was when Bobby Digital said, I'm not going to do analog music anymore. I'm going to go digital. And he would just come on the songs and he would go, doo-doo. And you'd be like, oh, Bobby Digital's in the building. And then me and my friends would have arguments about who's the best. And Jamal loved Bobby Digital. And we had to, I don't really like Bobby Digital. This is hours of time. Hours of wasted time and energy.
Heated arguments, too.
All for this moment. It all came down to this. And the Wu-Tang Clan was the genesis of that moment. Okay. I can take a breath now.
Does this count as like an exorcism? Like a positive exorcism?
Listen, the cell's always going to be within me.
It just needs to be ignited.
Because the RZA told me that you have 4 chambers in your heart, and there's 9 members. So that's how you get 36, the 36 chambers. And you can even go back to the 36. Can't do it anymore. Can't do it.
It's a must listen. But coming up next, we have more off-season list. This one's awfully intriguing. We'll tell you what it is next.
Top 5? Presser here for the folks at Cato's. Listen, and if you want to go out and you're a weekend warrior, a seasoned landscaper pro, and you're looking for some ways to get your lawn together, Ben Cato can help you. Ben Cato is a top-notch service provider, great deals, and he provides the mom-and-pop values that you love. And Ben is determined to raise the standard of sales, service, and retail. At Cato's, they're proud to offer a wide selection of new and pre-owned mowers, tractors, and more. So if you're ready to invest in something new, the friendly team is there to make the process easy, help you choose the right equipment, find financing options, and keep your gear running strong with expert service and parts. Whether you're a weekend warrior, a seasoned landscaping pro, Cato's has you covered. So swing by Cato's Power Equipment today or call them at 803-254-3711. That's 803-254-3711.
I-26 eastbound at exit 129, still working that earlier slowdown. Also, Corley Mill Road at Lee Cleckley Road. And I-77 northbound at Faro. There is an accident there. And weather-wise, yeah, it's starting to feel like summer. Not quite first day of summer yet, but the temperatures might argue at that point. 96 today, 98 tomorrow, 95 on your Saturday. Currently 74.
What do we love, Preston Thorne?
List.
We do love lists. And we got another list.
Oh, you mean the top 5 Wu-Tang rappers? Yes, Ghostface number 1.
Number 1.
Ghostface 1, Raekwon 2, Inspector Deck 3, Method Man 4, The RZA 5. Continue.
Definitive list.
Mine. Definitive list.
Your definitive list.
My definitive list. Based on their solo albums. Now, if you wanted to go based on their performances on the group albums, that would be a different list.
It's totally separate list. Liquid Swords up there all time for
obviously.
Yeah, much different list.
Hi, how you doing? My name's Preston.
Preston, all the women in the party have left. Why is that?
You do know that Ghostface was really on a limited number of the album on the first album because he was just coming out of prison and he wore a mask. That's why his name was Ghostface. We couldn't even see his face for the whole first promotional run. It was crazy. Dad, can you just please fix my breakfast for me?
Dad, I'm hungry. I'm 10 minutes late for school. But you don't understand.
You don't understand.
Oh, you had to be there. You absolutely had to be there.
So I'd love to hear the conversation if a Wu-Tang Clan equivalent comes into play when the young girl in the Thorne household brings it up. How do we react to that?
I gotta let her have it, man.
Yeah.
I gotta let her have it. Listen, if you want to go hard over Super Kitties or My Little Pony, I get it, man. I was way older than you. I am way older than you. Still
this way.
It still happens to me. I gotta let her have it.
Oh man, and then maybe she'll love lists as much as we do. But have her different type of list.
Top 5 little Ponies right now.
Power rankings.
Let's get her on the phone.
My Little Pony power rankings right now. Well, this is more than just 5. Adam Rittenberg on ESPN has a pretty comprehensive list. It's his college football future power rankings through 2027. So this is more like a state of the program type deal. And here's what all he took into account when creating these rankings, right? Quarterback situation, offensive and defensive line outlook, roster management, star power, and coaching staff. And he did this for all 68 teams in the Power 4 conferences. South Carolina comes in on this list ahead of a couple of other SEC teams. But South Carolina appears on this list at number, I'm scrolling back down here too because I didn't write it down because I'm an idiot.
Never good when you're scrolling that much.
46.
Not great to be scrolling that much.
And what Adam Rittenberg has too below it is the previous future power rankings. So we did this last year too. South Carolina was at 18.
Here's where the issue is for me, because if you look at the article, the teams are evaluated on the following things: quarterback situation, offensive line, defensive line, roster management, star power, and coaching staff. Based on that evaluation, on that criteria, just starting with quarterback situation, you would feel like automatically that would place us in a higher level.
Right.
And so what I'm wondering is why does he and why do you think we're in the 40s?
I think because you are going a lot in on this year, because it is a future outlook, and there will be, after 2026 with South Carolina football, there will be a lot of questions on like the quarterback situation, right? Is Cutter Woods the guy that's going to take over when Lenoris is no longer here? Because if all things go well, Lenoris is going to the NFL draft. That would be a good thing, that he played well enough to where it's like, okay, I want to be a first or second round pick in the NFL draft. My time here is done. It's been real. It's been fun. And hopefully he can say it's been real fun. and then he can depart. Dylan Stewart is going to be a first-round draft pick. I would say, regardless. You have a lot of veteran experience in this team, some transfers who are here for a good time, not a long time. So what the future looks like can be maybe a little unknown. I don't even want to say iffy, maybe just unknown after this year. You're going a lot in on this season, especially on the offensive and defensive lines. Because if you read the write-ups, too, on every single one of these breakdowns of each of those criteria, I mean, it seems to be a pretty positive write-up. It's not, oh, there's a lot of question marks here. I would say it reads pretty positive, but to see South Carolina below a couple of the teams that are ahead of them, like UCLA at 45, Wake Forest at 44, even Nebraska at 43, then you get into Auburn and Oklahoma State, who we don't know what they're going to be at least for 26, 27, they're going to have to do kind of a similar thing, not to the degree of getting like 80 transfers in, but having to build on it with a lot of veteran experience, just not at Oklahoma State. I do find it interesting that the outlook for like 2027 is so iffy for Adam Rittenberg that he has them that low. That's where I'm a little struggling, I guess, to maybe comprehend, because the write-up seems incredibly positive, but the position not so much. Maybe it is because he is expecting them to have a tough schedule and that maybe going all in on 2026 won't pan out the same way that Carolina and Carolina fans would hope. But I thought it was a little low.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you were just to read it without any numbers near it, that wouldn't make it a list or rankings. So that's why we're not dealing with it. We only do lists and rankings.
We
here.
love lists and rankings.
We love them.
That's our thing.
But if you were just to read it, I would probably place the write-up somewhere in the low 20s, just from perception, but
maybe even 30s.
Maybe even 30s, but 46 is lower, back half of the pack, and there's really no justifiable reason that is written up here unless he thinks something that he's not saying. And I don't know what that could be, but the write-up doesn't justify 46 in my opinion.
Or subliminally, he's taken into account that the nature of this program has been so up and down over the last couple of years, right? I mean, Adam Rittenberg's been covering college football for a long time. He's old enough to remember in 2023, high expectations going 5-7. No expectations in 24, going 9-4. High expectations in 25 and going 4-8. If you looked at that on a graph, there's a lot of up and down. There's a lot of curvature there, right?
So did Adam Rittenberg do us a favor by putting us at 46 here? Because last year we were 18. That didn't go well.
I'm noticing a trend.
Even year Shane Beamer.
And I think that maybe, even if he didn't write it in there, is that in the back of his mind subliminally?
It has to be. It has to be, because the write-up is overwhelmingly positive, and then the number's 46. Unless I haven't read everybody's profiles, unless everybody's write-up unless he's just trying to bring out, only say the good things, that could be possible. But the write-up, and I would encourage everybody to read it. It's a really informative article, well done, broken down so that you can glean information from it. But the write-up is overwhelmingly positive, and the number doesn't seem to match that.
Yeah, and I do think there's probably a subliminal element there of maybe not trusting the program 100% because of that up and down nature of what this program's been the last couple of years.
Fair.
And for a lot of the schools that are ahead of them, there's still a lot of unknowns, like Oklahoma State, again, a real unknown. Auburn has a new coach. There's a lot of unknown there. Nebraska's in a similar situation where they've been inconsistent, but they haven't shown an incredibly high ceiling. Wake Forest is in year 2 of a coach, and I thought Jamie Dickert did a fantastic job in year 1, making Wake Forest a good football team after where they were before that. But UCLA at 45, too, again, new coach. Going to be a lot of new players. The Bob Chesney experiment at UCLA may be one of the more fascinating ones to see if JMU is just this brand new coaching factory that is just pumping out the best future coaches in college football. A lot of unknowns there, and I think maybe he's grouping South Carolina in a group of unknowns because it's been such a different story year after year the last few years.
That's a very strong possibility. Like I said, I think everybody out there should read the article because I do think it's very well done.
Preston Thorne, have you heard the phrase, the European mind can't comprehend this?
Yes.
We have a living embodiment of it. I'll tell you who it is next here on the early game. One of my favorite things is whenever a wild SEC event happens or a college football thing happens, and someone just says, the European mind can't comprehend this.
Yeah.
What if you meshed European travelers in SEC culture for the World Cup?
I'm sure they are seeing sights, seeing things, hearing things, eating things that are not available, are not on the menu across the pond.
Well, there's a Twitter user. Goes by just Freddie with a German flag because Freddie is from Germany.
Mm-hmm.
He's at Freddie LA7, where he's taken a road trip really through the southeast United States because he's following around a lot of, of the soccer teams that are here for the World Cup. Watched, Spain and Chattanooga where they're training. Went saw Argentina in Auburn where they're training and played an exhibition or a friendly, as they call them. And that game was played at Jordan-Hare Stadium in a packed house. And this man is live tweeting every bit of the experience, right? And he's experiencing America for the first time. And he's at a college football stadium. He said, this is the craziest stadium I've ever been to, and I've been to a lot of stadiums. And then, the next tweet is, there's an eagle in the stadium. I said, brother, that is by design. That is not an accident. That is by design. They go, who let this bird in the stadium? No, it's supposed to be there, brother. It's supposed to be there. And
top flight American for sure.
They stopped at a Buc-ee's.
That's a lot. Even for anybody, even for Americans,
it's
who understand this. When you first time you go, you're like, what is happening here? There's a lot going on. So I could imagine somebody coming from, maybe even if you're from a major city in any European country, like you don't have that.
No, uniquely American. He just even tweets a picture of Buc-ee's, says, dude, LMAO, this is a gas station. Yes, it is. It's a big one.
So that means he was in Jordan-Hare Stadium because I saw them swag surfing as a unit in the stadium. So I could imagine his German mind looking around. What is happening?
Was ist das? Das ist sehr gut.
Sehr gut. Very good.
Jawohl. But now, driving through Alabama from Chattanooga, just it is a fun thing to just kind of follow along and just experience somebody else's first, Southeast American experience from someone in a completely different place.
Well,
this World Cup rules already.
I'm actually very hardcore on this because one of the things that is kind of amongst cultured people is that they're like, oh, you have to go to these other countries to experience culture. And I would always push back and say, no, we have culture here. We see it on Saturdays. Every Saturday at Williams-Brice, that is an example of culture. Just because you go across the pond and they're playing another sport doesn't mean that we don't have culture. I would say that about music. I would say that about food. Yes, other places are cool, but we have a lot of culture here, and do not ever take it for granted that just because we're here and people might talk down on it, don't think that this is not culture. It's just as much culture as anywhere else in the world. I'm very pro South for sure, but United States in general. Don't sell us short on culture.
We got a lot of it here.
Don't do that.
Because my man also experienced one of those Coke machines where there's 80 different options.
Come on, man.
Innovation. He says, LMAO, how am I supposed to choose from all of this? This is overwhelming me.
You gotta do a hurricane. You gotta go all of them.
Hurricane, or I guess if you had, they call it the hurricane for that specific thing, or back in my day they called them suicides.
You do a suicide, yeah. You could do a suicide also.
That's the manual one, the analog.
Yeah.
Just a little in each one.
Yeah, I would imagine somebody doing all of these things. Has he been to a Waffle House yet?
He has. I'm glad you mentioned that. He says, just had our first Waffle House experience at 1 a.m. Great food, great prices, and friendly staff. 10 out of 10. We will be coming back.
100%.
I got good news for you, Freddie. They're everywhere. You don't have to go back to that location. They're everywhere. Pick an exit. Any exit, you will find a Waffle House.
I love this. This is a developing story. This is the first developing story of the World Cup, right?
This is the story of the World Cup. Yes. I hit this guy with a follow just so I could keep seeing it. The European mind can't comprehend this. Best part of the World Cup so far.
I love it.
And I think he'll be in Atlanta for the games because Atlanta's got a few games.
There's some things he could experience in Atlanta.
Magic City. I am here for the wings.
His head might explode.
Somebody might tell him, hey, I know a really great wing spot. He's going to walk into Magic City and have no idea.
I mean, because there are some countries, like, things are just, food is more bland. And so, we have all kinds of stuff.
We got it all.
Yeah.
We got it all.
We had somebody visit from Australia, and we let her try a s'more for the first time. And she's like, what is this? There's so much. It's so, oh my gosh.
You should explosion of flavor.
You should have took her to Outback and say, don't you love Australian food? This is what your people eat, right?
This is a bloomin' onion.
She did have us try Vegemite.
She's like, I've never had this before.
Right.
I thought this was Australian food.
Right.
Third long hour's next. Schnall ball.
Hey, it's Jen for CHW Cabinetry in Lexington. This locally owned business, women-owned business. They do great work, and they really took care of us when our kitchen had to be gutted, and we ended up needing some new cabinetry in there, and they were so helpful when it came time to getting everything ordered. We got that photorealistic rendering of the kitchen, and it looked like it was finished. So, number one, that gave you something positive to focus on, but also we could take that and finish out the rest of the elements that we needed for the kitchen. And as I mentioned, though, because it was such a great experience, when it came time to updating a couple of bathrooms, there was only one place to go to get cabinetry for those, and that was CHW. If you have updates you want to do in your home, I encourage you to check them out. Their website is great, chwcabinetry.com. You can always call them today for consultation, 803-520-6837. Tell them Jen sent you. CHW Cabinetry, passion from inspiration to installation. Still working an earlier slowdown, Corley Mill Road at Lee Cleckley Road. I-26 eastbound at exit 129, and also still in progress, I-77 northbound at Farrow Road. Definitely experiencing a warm-up for several days. We are looking for a high of 96 today, 98 tomorrow. On Saturday, going to see a few clouds roll in. 95 will be our high, up to 75 right now.
The early game third and long hour starts right now. I'm Elijah Campbell. He's Preston Thorne. She's Jen Jensen. Our man Thomas is in the house in the video production room here at Studio 803. And it's still the excitement from Kevin Schnall being named the head baseball coach at South Carolina, even amplified now that it is official. We know contract terms be $1.3 million per year, running up until 2031. So now we know specifics. We know that this is real. And he did even, I guess, kind of address the fans. Jen, sorry to spring this up on you. Can we get cut 6? This is Kevin Schnall, I guess, in a video addressing the fans of South Carolina Gamecock baseball for the first time as the head baseball coach.
Gamecock Nation, my name is Kevin Schnall, your new head baseball coach. You are such a valuable part of our success moving forward. We need you back in Founders Park to make this one of the most electric venues in college baseball.
And party like a rock
Party
star.
like a rock star.
Background.
What a moment in life.
I just got taken back to the 6th grade.
What a moment. What a moment. Yeah. Hey, listen, that sounds exactly the way I picture Kevin to sound. Very much to the point, no flim-flam. He's about business, and he's planning to stand on business.
Gonna need him to, and he's right. We need you back at Founders Park. You need to be able to build. This is part of being the statesman, the salesman, right? The revivalist. The 3 things you need to be in order to get yourself off on the right foot here with this job, this mightily important rebuilding job at South Carolina. Is building excitement. There's going to be a fan event on Friday. That's tomorrow night. It's almost Friday already. At 8:30 over at Founders Park, giving out free hot dogs. There's going to be fireworks. It's going to be an entire event, and you'll get to hear from Kevin Schnall for the first time address fans in person.
We'll get to the Schnall ball of it all in a second, but you said about the idea of revivalist, and there was a really interesting tidbit. Shout out to Jamie Bradford, J.C. Sherbert, all those guys at Gamecock Central, Big Spur. Was watching a video that they were doing an interview with Grayson Griner. Obviously, Grayson, Gamecock great, Gamecock legend, one of the guys that plays here. This interview was, today's Thursday. This interview was Wednesday. Kevin Schnall had already called Grayson Griner on Tuesday night.
Oh, wow.
Think about that.
Just
they don't know each other. They have no previous knowledge of each other. But Kevin saw fit to start repairing and revitalizing some of the relationships that apparently had been severed or just not cultivated in previous regimes. And one of his first calls was to a former player and several of his other former players who he knows. One, that's being a great politician. I know these dudes are going to need to have my back. Right, I'm going to need these dudes, but also just the idea like he sees that as important and wants to build on the foundation and traditions that have already been set here. When I heard that, I was like, oh, okay, we might be doing something here.
I think that's what most of the special coaches do, right? Especially in SEC towns where the former players in the glory days of those programs are idolized. And Grayson Griner is definitely has a special place in the history of Gamecock baseball, and that fact he's already reached out tells me he gets it, right? I think the thing with Paul Mainieri was a lot of fans felt a lot of frustration because they felt like he didn't get it. He didn't get what it meant to be the South Carolina Gamecock baseball coach, which seemed crazy considering he had to coach against that program for so many years. How do you not get it? But it seems like within just hours of, the agreement being publicly known and official, that Kevin Schnall, one of his first things of business was bringing his luggage with him, which we'll get to here in a second, but also reaching out to people and making it known that, hey, we need your support to be able to get this program back to what it was when you played. And we want to experience the good times that you experienced when wearing that Gamecock uniform. We're trying to bring this feeling back, right? This isn't just a good vibes hire. We want it to be a good results hire. We want to be able to make it back to the College World Series because it's been such a drought, especially right now since the College World Series, starts tomorrow. It's about time that you're able to find a way and have a team that's good enough to be able to get back to that spot.
So that was a former player from the university talking about how he was, I mean, and Grayson went on, he's like, man, we only talked for it was just a couple brief minutes. Hey, how you doing, blah, blah, blah. Really looking forward to leading your program. And Grayson was like, man, I was fired up when I hung up the phone, right? He's like, I was fired up. So we have that. Then we have the fella that you talked to 2 days ago. What was his name?
Wells Sykes.
Another former player that was talking about the Kevin Schnall way and how all those things. And those are, I always take a lot of stock in what do the people who were playing for this guy, what do they have to say years later, immediately after, about the experience of playing for him. And so those are two things that it's just like, okay, this is really interesting, the story that's developing.
And I'll tell you this too. I mean, being in sports talk radio, I mean, I've not been in this for decades. I mean, I've been doing this for 7 years in different markets, and I've covered coaching changes, and I've tried to get people on in the past when a coaching change happens to say, hey, would you be cool with sharing memories of, you know, your old coach and what they can bring to this new spot? And sometimes it's hard to get people to be excited because maybe there wasn't a great relationship there, or maybe they just don't want to maybe gas somebody up if they don't truly feel it, right? I will say Wells responded pretty quickly and was excited to come on. If you go back and listen to that conversation, you can hear the admiration in his voice that he had for Kevin Schnall and how well everybody was able to buy in, how enjoyable the experience was for him. It helps to be able to win and go to a College World Series and get to the final of the College World Series. But it's another thing too for the only year he was there, enjoying it as much as any other year of college baseball because of how much he was able to get the entire team to buy in, how enjoyable it was to play for a guy that got the best out of him. And if that doesn't fire you up, I don't know what will.
Well, getting to the conversation that we're having now about Kevin Schnall coming from Coastal and bringing his luggage with him, I think that's another indicator that people enjoy playing for him and respect him because they would follow him from one destination to the next.
And just a few of those players too. I mean, Walker Mitchell maybe sentimentally the most exciting for fans because Walker's father played football for South Carolina and was on the baseball team too. So there's a Gamecock lineage there. But Walker also played at River Bluff, won a state title at River Bluff, and I assume just didn't get an offer to play at South Carolina, goes to Coastal, ends up having a really solid season, predominantly a third baseman, but played second base and shortstop, classic utility type of infielder, but a guy who hit .313 last year and led the team, in doubles, the second in runs batted in, a guy who is a legitimate bat and was a legitimate player, key piece to that Coastal Carolina team that did almost go the distance and win the whole thing a couple of years ago. He's coming in. We have a lot of pitchers coming in, some with great production already. Somebody like Hayden Johnson, who, even though he missed last year because of an injury, it's a 6'5" left-hander that was striking out 13 batters per 9 innings in 2025. Sign me up. Yeah, you need those type of dudes who can throw high heat and who are great left-handed arms to give you different looks. Yeah, I'll take that guy. A couple other, pitchers who, like someone like Daniel Parker, who had a 4.76 ERA as a freshman, right? Somebody like Colby Richardson, another left-handed pitcher who maybe had a little bit of a higher ERA, but again, a freshman last season, a lot to build on there from a talent perspective, and then bringing guys too that know what Schnall ball is really all about, like catcher Bryce Estep, right? That's a guy who was top 10 in the Sun Belt Conference in sacrifice bunts. Yeah, his batting average was .232, but his on-base percentage was .417. Right, guy's getting on base 41% of the time. He's drawing a lot of walks. Oh, and the thing about Walker Mitchell too, he got hit by 21 pitches last year. He's not afraid to lean in, do whatever it takes to get on base, right? Advance runners, move them, manufacture runs. All of these guys have certain Schnall ball traits and have bought into what it is that they do, and clearly bought in enough to be able to follow him here to Columbia and create a foundation that a lot of coaches that are in Kevin Schnall's position sometimes have a hard time doing for year one.
Yeah, because you have to come in, and they used to call it like year zero. I need to implement my philosophy, wait till I get my guys in, all those types of things. Well, that speeds up the process, so expectations should be high, and there's nothing wrong with expectations. That's why he took the job. That's why he's getting paid what he's getting paid, so there's nothing wrong with expectations. But these dudes are winners. They've won when they've played, they take the field with a level of expectation to win, and they also take the field with a level of belief in the guy that they're playing for. I was not in the locker rooms last year, but just judging by results, I think I can pretty fairly say that those players did not believe or they weren't buying what Paul Mainieri was selling. Mm-hmm. And either they just wasn't buying it or they weren't capable of getting those things done. But none of those dudes can squarely say that they were winners, and they can't say that they had that performance on the field. These players can. And I think that's really important as they all try and embark on this new challenge for themselves. And plus, they all got a chip on their shoulder because none of them feel like they should have been in G5 anyway.
Right.
They all feel like they should have been playing here.
From the SEC level.
They all at every moment. So now that they're here with their coach, I think that's a mentality that they're going to take on.
Yeah, and I think it's a very exciting proposition to the point where I don't think year zero should be in a Gamecock fans' vocabulary. It shouldn't be at all. I don't think there's going to be a year zero. Talked about that a lot yesterday on the postgame show. With what you're bringing in right now, with more to come, with an entire transfer portal process, still a lot of really good talent out there, I think you should be playing postseason baseball as like a 2 seed, right? I don't want to set unrealistic expectations, but I expect you to play in a regional in which you have a really good chance of winning in it, right? I feel like you should have a pretty good head start here that you might not have had when you pulled a coach out of retirement and into a whole new world of college baseball that didn't exist by the time they did leave the game. This should get you a much greater head start for that first season, to the point where I think there are legitimate expectations of being really solid and competitive in the SEC too.
And the reason that they're going to be competitive is because they're going to be doing something different. They have an identity, the style of play that they're going to be doing. I guess the closest comp would be Kentucky, but it's not quite that. But there is going to be an emphasis on them. I love the phrase we used earlier, manufacturing runs. I read that they have the ants in your pants offense. That's sort of what Schnall says. And the idea of ants in your pants is that I'm always looking for an opportunity to run, to advance, to move forward. It's an exciting brand of baseball that, quite frankly, we would love to have around here.
I love savvy base running. There's almost nothing I love more than seeing, somebody pull something off on the base pass, whether it's, tricking, a defender into looking one way and somebody else moving and advancing a base, kind of sleight of hand, or just stealing a lot of bases, being aggressive on the base pass, right? Having guys on the roster who have some wheels and who have, the wits about them to be able to know when to advance and when to trust their speed, and being able to have guys that are willing to lay bunts down. I know Jen joked earlier that we should have like a promotion, where they get M&Ms. Jen's going to throw M&Ms every time, they lay down a bunt. We had a texter on the Firehouse Subs text line. Orlando Bruce says, instead of M&Ms, how about a bunt cake for a successful sacrifice? Well done, Orlando Bruce.
Love it. There has to be a retraining of us as a fan base to appreciate the finer things about small ball baseball. So when a player does lay down a sacrifice bunt, we have to stand up and applaud them. Well, that's all part of the scheme here.
Exactly. We're in, training right now with the puppy, and that is, you get the positive reinforcement. They do something, they get a treat. They
exactly.
Do something. So we're just going to Pavlov's dog of sorts.
Pavlov dogs the fans. And as soon as you see somebody square around the butt, you just start.
Everybody start getting out your seats. We're about to advance a runner.
I mean, for one thing, it's new, kind of almost a new concept for us to see successful things. So we are kind of almost have to retrain everybody. We do that. We can do that. Really?
This is good baseball.
Yeah,
I like it.
Instead of getting the leadoff guy on and striking out 3 times, we're going to move that runner from first around the base paths.
What a concept.
Let me put a couple of early game things together. Fire marshal game, Devin Downey, when he was in Chester, he would come to half court and the crowd would start going, oh, and he would just launch it and they would go boom when he would hit the 3. Maybe we do that for sacrifice bunts.
Nice.
Schnall ball sells itself. The golden marketing opportunity right here. But coming up next, the early game, third long hour goes deep. We'll talk about drought killers, the coaching hires that saved these franchise, including one that paid a lot of dividends last night. That's next here on the early game. up. And I know a really good idea of what you can get your father for that special day, because Pro Swing, father's a great lover of golf. They got everything for you, right? You build up and promote bringing in dad for a climate-controlled golf experience. Look, it's going to get really hot. What's better than a climate-controlled experience? For the week of Father's Day, Pro Swing's going to be offering 25% off gift cards to add to your Father's Day gifts. Not sure if lessons are for you? You can take advantage of the summer-long free 30-minute swing evaluation where you can meet with David Ledbetter, certified instructors, for a one-on-one evaluation to take your game to the next level. If dad's a big golf lover in your life, perfect Father's Day gift is to go ahead and take advantage of those 25% off gift cards over at Pro Swing.
Still working that earlier tie-up there at Corley Mill Road at Lee Cleckley. Also an accident, Garner's Ferry Road near True Street. I-26 eastbound at I-129. And then I-77 northbound at I-26 right there at Exit 1. We do have an accident. Warm today, and for the rest of the week and into the weekend, we're looking for a high of 96, 98 tomorrow. On Saturday, 95. Right now, sun is out. It is 75.
Steep, we were tapping into some magic.
The magic happens in the breaks.
Because we were talking about the marketability of Schnall ball and making the idea of bunting popular. We have some slogans.
I like big bunts, and I cannot lie.
I can play every single time.
Nice.
Goodwill bunting. I can't believe it's not bunter. The bunt of the litter.
We can do this forever.
T-shirts that read bunting is offense instead of punting is offense.
Bunting is offense.
Instead of a sacrifice bunt, we call it an attacker-fice bunt.
We just gotta get behind this.
This is what brain power was meant to do.
Mm-hmm.
This is what humans were meant to do.
Claude can't do this.
No, can't. Absolutely can't. I would like to see a computer come up with stuff this dumb. Bet you can't. Bet you can't. This is where man always wins over machine. For the early game, third long hour goes deep. This whole week we've been talking about the drought killers, right? South Carolina baseball is in a College World Series drought. And if we can get any type of inspiration from what the New York Knicks have done to get back to the NBA Finals and now being one game away from winning it, I wanted to look at the coaching hires that saved franchises, especially since we are in a position right now, South Carolina baseball, hiring Kevin Schnall and turning the page to a new chapter in the program's history. If that hire can be a drought killer, what other examples do we have of coaches who got to end long championship or championship appearance droughts? A few that came to mind: Kirby Smart with Georgia, Joe Madden with the Chicago Cubs, Steve Kerr with the Golden State Warriors, Dabo Sweeney with Clemson. We're familiar with that one, unfortunately. And Mike Brown with the New York Knicks. And that even came into fruition last night with drawing up the play that ultimately ended up winning the game with a second left.
I think I can use Mike Brown to draw a parallel to several of these. Not the Dabo, because I think Dabo's an outlier who's obviously exceptional, but I think that's an outlier. But Mike Brown is very similar to, as you were going through this, all of these guys, but I think about Joe Madden, and maybe Joe Madden mostly. Steve Kerr to an extent, but Joe Madden, and the idea that this was a guy who's been around the game, had a level of success, had never quite reached the pinnacle, known as a player's coach. Maybe when hired was seen as a kind of a retread.
He was with Tampa Bay, and he took Tampa Bay to a World Series.
But never got over the hump.
It didn't win.
Right? It's very similar to Mike Brown. When Mike Brown was hired, I think with a lot of people, were like, okay, especially since they fired Tibbs after Tibbs had taken the organization pretty much out of the gutter, but he couldn't get him over the hump. And that's why I get Mike Brown closer to maybe even Steve Kerr, who was
the same way.
Same idea, right?
Yeah, Mark Jackson fired after the Warriors went to 2 straight playoffs and they couldn't get out of the first round. Well, not out of the second round. They got out of the first round the first year, got bounced by the Spurs, then got bounced by the Clippers in 7 games. And they said, we want to go a little further. And the firing of Mark Jackson was not particularly popular. He was an NBA Coach of the Year like a year before that. And then they hire Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr makes a couple of adjustments, says, hey, how about that kid that can't miss 3-pointers? Let's make him shoot like 8 or 9 a game instead of 3 or 4. How about we let him shoot more? How about we just do the whole offense around him? Or how about the second-round draft pick that you have become a small ball center? Right? How about we do that and become mismatch problems for everybody else? And then, bam, you go from being a middle-of-the-road playoff team, right, a 4 or 5 seed every year, to being the number 1 seed, winning an NBA title, and then obviously doing what they've done in the run ever since. Sometimes it's not a dramatic change. Sometimes it just takes some tweaking. So the Mike Brown one, I think, definitely is mirroring the little tweaking part, right, of just changing a couple things here or there. Maybe Kirby Smart and Joe Madden to a much lesser degree, maybe more of what we're hoping we see with Kevin Schnall in South Carolina.
No, I can't say Kirby Smart, because I do think Kirby Smart took over a job that Mark Richt was good.
It was good. Yes, he was good. It was not in the dumps.
It was not in the dumps. The Carolina baseball program is in the dumps. It's the worst it's ever been. That's an objective fact. So I don't think it's that same, but Kirby Smart took the program from good to great.
Yes.
He was the person that was hired to get it to the next level. So maybe it's closer to Joe Madden.
Yeah, Kirby's in that other category.
Right. I think, yeah, because Kirby was hired to get the Georgia program. They were consistently stuck at 9, 8 wins in that area, and that's what Mark Richt was sort of the ceiling he had, and then Kirby blows the ceiling off.
Yeah.
Right? Program ain't got, the roof is the ceiling for Kirby, you know?
Michael Jordan game.
Yeah, so I don't think Kirby's it. Who do you think that Kevin Schnall is closest to? Is not Steve Kerr, because we haven't done that.
You might have touched on it. Here's the thing. It's not an apples to apples comparison here, because Indiana football never had that type of success before Curt Cignetti got there, but you did get an up-and-coming coach who's bringing a lot of his players with him. And I'm not saying you're going undefeated and winning the College World Series in year one, but maybe you take a pretty big step on the way there. And because of the luggage you bring in from a group of 5 level up to the Power 4 and have success early on. Now, for Curt Cignetti, it was like that. He steps on campus, brings in a bunch of new players. They led the country in transfers that year. They go 11-1 and make the college football playoff, right? Not saying you're making the College World Series in year one, but maybe it's a similar blueprint in, hey, you bring a coach in, he brings a lot of his players, some sprinkling of other players from around the country. It's a unit made up of a bunch of transfers in year one, but it sets an incredible foundation for the years to follow, led by a lot of the guys that he brought with him from the last spot, a guy who players love playing for, had no problem following him from one spot to the next. Maybe that's a similar blueprint, even if that is the higher end of the extreme or the higher end of the spectrum of this type of rebuild.
Yeah, I'm racking my brain. I would love if anybody else can text in, and if you have any other examples, we'll definitely use them. But I just think the idea of these players working with their coach, going from G5 to the top of the sport, but always feeling like if we ever got that opportunity, we would be just as good there as we are here. I do think that carries a lot of weight.
And Chris on the Firehouse Subs text line throws out Rick Pitino at St. John's and Mario Cristobal at Miami. In different ways, too. Pitino may be more similar to what you need here.
Pitino might be, even though Pitino and Schnall are different coaching profiles,
Pitino.
Yeah, one of my favorites. I do think there's an idea of a program that has a proud history, a program that really does love the sport and just has not been treated fairly by the hires that organization has made. There maybe is some parallel to that.
Yeah, especially when it comes to like roster building philosophy. Now, Pitino, I don't know what, I guess, percentage of players at St. John's came from Iona when he got hired. I know it wasn't a ton of them because he tried to get Walter Clayton Jr. in there, and Walter Clayton just went to Florida and won a national championship. But there is something about, like, going up a level, maybe bringing some players with you and having a level of success with a program that was starved for that type of success. Maybe Rick Pitino has a closer parallel. And Mario Cristobal had, I think what makes him different, too, is he did have that Miami connection. Always a strong recruiter. But Cristobal did a fantastic job of turning that thing around and then kind of exercising his own demons in terms of on-field coaching, and he evolved a lot as well. But coming up next, though, it's time to go racing. The Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge with our man Josh Harris is next. I know a hire that's going to help you out and pay immediate dividends, maybe not on a baseball field or a football field, but if you're having issues when it comes to business tax and personal income tax, well, John Ecton and his team at the Ecton Law Firm are here for you, right? It's a hire that can do a world of difference and get you out of the jam that you're in. Escape that pesky IRS maze today and starting that process by calling 803-771-9800, where you set up a free consultation with John and his team at the Egton Law Firm. Be able to talk out a lot of those issues that you're going through, and they'll understand because it's a local team that's been providing a lot of proven local solutions for decades here in the state of South Carolina, and they're perfectly qualified to offer you the most important thing, and that is peace of mind. So take that first step today. Get out of the IRS maze and give them a call, 803-771-9800, or visit them at EgtonLawFirm.com.
I-26 eastbound at exit 129 still in progress there, so allow slowdowns, or I'll allow for a slowdown there. Also, you'll find one I-77 southbound at Decker Boulevard and Sunset Boulevard between North Lake Drive and Mineral Springs Road, kind of there at Kaufman Farm Lane. There is an accident as well. Sunshine abounds the next couple days, and warmth does as well. 96 for the high today, 98 tomorrow. And it's trying to warm up now. It's 76.
It's time to go racing. It's the Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge with our man Josh Harris, the man over at Darlington Raceway. And Josh, I guess the best advice you guys could have given me was to take Denny Hamlin, because that man is like butter, because he is indeed on a roll.
That's right. I don't feel quite like the man right now. I'm on quite the opposite of a good streak right now. So I've gone. I sent Jen an email, and she sent me the updated standings. I've gone from the penthouse to the outhouse. So from leading to now, I get to pick first this week. So we'll see how that goes a little bit later.
It seems to work well. It really does. It's worked
well,
somewhat beneficial.
Well, I was going to say, part of me was thinking strategically, do I want to, try to preserve this position for one more week when we go to the road course or street course out in San Diego?
Now we're playing the game.
Strategery.
Now we're being strategic, so we'll see.
Oh, see, that's smart, because if he scores well this week, but not too well, and that way you're close enough, just if ever I do a little bit better and you get that first pick, it's a guaranteed 10 points.
Cool.
You assume, anyway. The odds are definitely in your favor.
That's right. Well, no, but seriously, Denny, once again, I think, we talked about it last week. He gets on these, hot streaks, and right now, just with the season overall that Toyota's had, and he's coming up through there, and 2 weeks in a row now where either through his own doing or, because of, this week he sits on the pole, but then still has to repair damage to his car, starts at the back of the pack and comes all the way up to the front again. And man, once he got the lead, he just took off in that last run. And I think he won 11 seconds, which was really neat, given all the numbers and everything. So he's on that hot streak, and you gotta tip your cap to a guy that's 45 years old and arguably maybe running some of the best in his career.
And interestingly, there were several accidents, and I think the track record was 10, and there were 11 accidents at the race. So there were just so many nods to 11. That we mentioned Ned Jarrett passing away, and of course he was very successful in the number 11. Denny Hamlin, gave a shout out to Kyle Busch. They had a special flag for him with his numbers, and it just felt really, I don't know, very connected or something. It was like it was just in the cards for Denny to win, and again, to win so dominantly, it's just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I mean, we lost Ned Jarrett, and Ned was a great race car driver. He won the 1965 Southern 500 in that 11 car by 14 laps. Can you imagine someone winning a race today by 14 laps? And certainly, Denny paid tribute to him and continues to pay tribute to Kyle. I thought that was a cool collaboration that they were able to do with Joe Gibbs Racing and RCR with that flag. So, great to see. On the downside, a couple of hard crashes in that race, including Christopher Bell and Chase Elliott. Good to see both of them walk away from that. And obviously, Christopher announced he has a fractured wrist, but like a lot of race car drivers, it's not enough to keep him out of the car. So he'll be back in there this weekend at Pocono. And fortunate for all the safety advancements in the sport, for such a hard hit like that, for him to be able to walk away and only sustained a fractured wrist is pretty incredible.
Years ago, that would have been so much more catastrophic. As it was, it took them, 15 minutes or better to repair that spot on the wall, because that's just how intense that impact was for him. And so, safety on display for sure, that there's just the Hans devices and the safer barriers just have made this sport so much more safe, and we're grateful for that for sure, because that was just hearing everybody's responses, hearing people, spotters, and talking to other people and listening to the announcers. They were all just really kind of gutted by seeing him hit. So we're just thrilled that he was okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It's scary moment when you see someone hit that hard. I think everyone recognized, hey, that was a really hard hit right away. Even the drivers, the competitors on the track were asking, as you alluded to, check in on him. So, yeah, kudos, to everyone that's been involved in the last 25 years of developing the safety in our sport, whether that's at the racetrack with the walls, in the car itself. So many advancements have been made to keep these drivers safe, and it's always good to see them walk away like that.
So we're heading to the Tricky Triangle this week, and lots of things, long straightaways, tight corners. Tell us a little bit about what kind of racing we should be expecting in Pocono.
Yeah, another unique track. Pocono, it's one of those, you get high speeds, but you also have some tight corners where it really depends. Guys are going to have to be really good with their braking. I think what we saw a couple of weeks ago with some of the braking issues, that was with the higher horsepower package. They'll be running the standard horsepower package, but they call it a tricky triangle for a reason. 3 different unique corners, so you got to set your car up to try to get through all 3 of them as best you can. One of the coolest things to see is when all the cars come down, especially on the start of the race and restarts, and they cross the start-finish line and head towards turn 1, they spread out 5, 6 wide and then try to dive off into turn 1. So always creates some excitement there. And it should be a great crowd up at Pocono, another track with a ton of camping, a lot of support up in that area. So looking forward to a good weekend, good race up there.
Absolutely. So, Elijah, let us know how our standings are there. Definitely tight.
I'm excited to do it. Finally, for once, I'm excited to do it. Jen is in the lead right now with 76 points. Thanks, Denny Hamlin. I'm in second at 75. Preston just 1 point behind me at 74. Reggie at 71. And then Josh at 69 in what we would now call the Elijah Campbell spot, which is usually the one who is picking first. So those are our standings, incredibly tight, only separated by 7 points as it's been the last couple of weeks. But with that said, Josh, you have won the NASCAR lottery. You get number 1 pick this week.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. I've worked really hard at this. So, I thought maybe going alternate strategy, trying to preserve that SVG possible pick next week, but there's no guarantee. So I'm going to go with Denny Hamlin. I haven't picked him at all this year. He's so good at Pocono, so give me Hamlin.
He has like 7 wins there. So yeah, that's extremely solid pick.
All right, so it takes us to Reggie.
Reggie, he did want Hamlin first, so
classic.
Not getting that. So he's going to go with Reddick this week.
All right, now my racers are flying off the board here. That takes us to Preston.
I'm going to go with Kyle Larson to get his first win here at Pocono.
Outstanding.
All right, well,
Good
I
choice.
had 4 names written down. 3 of them have been taken off the board, so that leaves me with 1 from the process of elimination. Give me the best mustache in the sport, Ryan Blaney.
Oh, man. All right. Stole my pick, dude. And he is dashing pretty hard. No question.
It looks so good.
It really does. All right. Well, Chase Elliott, I think, has been on a little bit of a run, not doing too bad. So I'm going to take Elliott for the win this week.
All right. Those are our picks. Josh, appreciate your time as always. And we'll see if your tanking situation is to hold up. I don't know if Denny Hamlin's going to allow you to do that.
We'll see. We'll see next week. Appreciate the time.
Hey, thanks.
Good stuff there from Josh. He's a winner. We'll give you our winners of today's show, brought to you by the Golden Spur, coming up next. And every day we give you our Winners of the Day show, brought to you by the Golden Spur. And it's been a fun one. We have plenty.
Plenty of winners today, for sure.
I'll start off with the first one. And it goes to my entire philosophy of playoff basketball. Star players get you to big moments. Role players win you the big moments. And you wouldn't consider OG Anunoby to be the best player. Probably wouldn't consider him to be the second best player, maybe even the third for the New York Knicks. But he stepped up last night, 30-plus points, including a chase down block to keep it a one-point game. In the hustle to get that offensive rebound put back, which I contest is by design. He won them the game to pretty much create what is the greatest comeback maybe in the history of basketball.
Yeah, it's obviously up there with, you consider the circumstances, the stakes, everything that was happening at that moment. A fantastic moment. He'll be a series MVP if all is right and just in the world, right?
If I am voting on this, OG Anunoby is your series MVP.
Yeah, he would have to be. Even obviously Jalen is the heart of the team, and he's the guy that's gotten him to this moment. But if we're just doing Andre Iguodala type of style.
Yes.
Right? That type beat where he's going to be, that's the guy that's going to be. My winner is going to go to fundamentals because the game last night was either won or lost by the lack of or execution of fundamentals. We had De'Aaron Fox miss a layup.
Which he should never attempted.
We had Josh Hart miss a layup in the wide open court. We had OG Anunoby crashing the boards. We had Dylan Harper not boxing out. All of the things that you have learned in 5th grade PE class. The most basics of the basics. And we get all fancy about, we think about sports and we think about pro sports as being the clash of athletes, and they can jump high and they can run fast and they can do all these things. But it often comes down to who's willing to execute the fundamentals in pressure-packed moments, and they did it.
They absolutely did it, and that makes a massive difference in a game that, like, all 4 of these games have been decided. I know the final score in game 1 was 10 points, but it was a one-possession game going into the final minute, right? The spirit of that game was not a 10-point game. It's gone down to the last minute in all 4 of these games, and if you want to look at how all of them were won and lost, the team that just didn't make the dumb mistakes in that last minute won. Game 2 for the Spurs, Wemby throwing the ball to Stephon Castles back when he's not looking, creating a turnover in the game-winning free throw.
Yep.
Young and dumb Spurs. Last night, they shouldn't even got to that point because the Spurs settled on a lot of jumpers. Offensively, they went to the no thoughts, just vibes offense. Never a good idea.
Hey, Coach, take a timeout and let's settle this thing down.
Yeah, like settle it down a little bit. Say, hey, guys, yeah, you made every three-pointer you shot in the first half. That's not going to happen in the second half. How about we just get the ball to the basket? We're in the bonus. How about we drive and draw fouls, get to the free throw line like we did in the second half of game 3, and then we should be fine. We can ice it right there. Didn't happen. The Knicks executed. The Spurs gagged it away. All of that makes a classic sporting event that we saw last night. And, of course, another winner of the show. 19-year-old Preston Thorne. Because the Wu-Tang Clan played at halftime, and the spirit overcame him.
I could not help it, man. I stood straight up on my couch, and it was just like, oh, my God, they are there. I spent so many years of adolescence from 12 to 19 arguing about who's the best in the Wu-Tang Clan. Shout out to Thomas. He gave a hot take immediately during the break. He said his favorite is the Method Man. My wife's favorite is the Method Man. I suspect it's for different reasons, though. All you have to do is Google them. I suspect it's for different reasons. But shout out to every Wu-Tang lifer out there. Last night was your moment.
You know what my hot take is? It's the Jizza, #1.
Ooh, listen, I can respect it. Hey, 14-year-old Preston, do you want to learn how to play chess because it's supposed to be the game of intellectuals or Bobby Fischer? No, it's because the Jizza says that chess is the thing that makes him write raps better. And so I have to write raps better and play chess like the Jizza.
Maybe a fantastic album, Liquid Swords.
Absolutely. Winter album, yes.
A winter album?
Only in the winter I play that album, once every winter.
I have a few albums like that, but I've got that, one of my favorite vinyls that I own is Liquid Swords. Also the coolest album artwork to ever exist.
Fire. I mean, the way that they would take the Woo W and they would transform it to each member. So now it's not a W, it's a G for the genius, the Jizza, because they also have multiple names.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Wu-Tang
When
Clan.
I was a young girl. Oh my, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Oh, I can feel some sort of spirit. I can feel it.
fun,
Also,
man.
bunting puns. Winner.
Schnall ball
Schnall ball.
is here. It's live. It's in effect. It's real.
I like big bunts.
I like big bunts, and I cannot lie. You just gotta drop it as soon as somebody lays a sacrifice down.
My new favorite movie this baseball season, starting in February, Goodwill Bunting.
What's your favorite type of cake?
Nothing bunt cake. My favorite type of butter. I can't believe it's not bunter.
It's not bunter. Remember, kids, bunting is offense.
Bunting is offense, and it's going to be offense at Founders Park with a new chapter of South Carolina Gamecock baseball. Those are our winners of today's show, brought to you by the Golden Spur, Tyler Head, Jack Feltry. They're winners, and they're always next.
Who was that? I don't know. Maybe me. Who was it? Let's see.